Next, we want to overlay this typography on top of the video. And there's also a little bit of a gradient to give more contrast to the text here. And lastly, we want to make sure that this text is responsive and takes up the whole screen no matter what the screen size is. And we've already done something similar when we did our full screen navigation. We're going to use the same technique here. So it's going to be fairly simple. Let's go ahead and do that. So first of all, we need to create the div that overlays the video. So let's go ahead here and add another div. And let's call this video overlay and make sure that it is absolute positioned. Now, to make sure that it's absolute position, not relative to the body, we're going to have to make sure that the video section is relative and then make sure that it takes up the whole screen. That's great. And let's give it a little bit of a background gradient the other way around. So black at the bottom, and then it becomes black but with zero transparency. Wait, no. Let's pick black because I picked the variable. Wasn't able to actually, oh, yeah. What I want to do is pick the black without opacity. Sorry, I mixed up this percentage of where this is placed in the gradient with the percentage of gradient, which is actually here inside. So basically now we have black with transparency of 0. So we have going from black to black with transparency of 0, and that is the gradient that we have here. We can actually make this not a full black, but something like this. So starting from 80, going back to 0. So that is the background. And we can also give this an inner padding. So we can set inner padding on all sides here. That is our global padding. So holding Command or Option and Shift to make sure that it is applied on all sides. And now I can go ahead and add inside here. Actually, because I want the text to be aligned to the bottom text, it's already a good idea to turn this into a flex to make sure that the content is aligned to the bottom left. Now we've got everything set up, so I can just bring in an H2. Bringing in H2 because this text is obviously the heading of this section here. However, it doesn't look like H2, so we're going to give this a custom class. First, let's copy the text here, put it here. I'm going to hit return to break it into 3 lines. And let's give this a class of H2 huge text. And under the typography, we're going to change it from pixels to viewport width. So it is responsive. Let's try something like 10 viewport width, see what that does. So we can make this a tiny bit bigger even. Okay, so I would say 11 looks good. For the height, let's try 90%. That looks good. So now when it's viewport width, that means that if the screen is getting smaller, the text is getting smaller. However, it does break here for some reason. So let's make it a tiny bit smaller, 10.8 or something, and maybe now it's not going to break. It does break. So perhaps it's going to be a good use case here of more type options, and then we can basically make the text not wrap. We can actually say it. We can actually say keep all, and basically don't wrap. And now the text is just not going to wrap, so the text is not going to break. That's good. So that's what we wanted. So now the text is responsive. It's also not breaking. We can go and try this on different breakpoints, and we can see that fantastic. It already is good and already is responsive. So we are done.